guys, and welcome to Faith Works Designs. I'm Faith. So today I'm going to bring you a free pattern, our little wet wipe pouch. Everybody has been asking since they saw my diaper bag pouch that I made. Everybody's been asking for that pattern, and that one is a little more difficult. I figured what I would do is come up with a new pattern that's a little easier, a little more beginner friendly, and that way you guys can start it without getting super frustrated and all of that. So check it out. So I normally use one brand of wet wipe. I had an old wet wipe container, and what I did was I just took the lid off of it. It's still kind of sticky, but I took the lid off of it so that I could just trace around it. Then what you're going to need is you're going to need some really cute fabric. Two fabrics for your outside fabrics. One on the front and one on the back. Now what I chose to do is I chose to cut out three. They're all going to be 6.5 by 10.5. So 10.5 wide by 6.5 tall. Just make sure that if you're using like a print, that it's going to be 10.5 going across and then 6.5 tall. What I decided to do on all of them was make my lining in the front the same thing that's on the front of my bag. So if it happened to like pull up any or anything, you wouldn't see like a random green in the back. You would see the mini print on the inside. So I did that with all of mine. So in the video I will reference having 3 of my outside fabrics and then 1 of my lining. So it's up to you. You are going to need a 9-inch zipper and then 2 2x2 pieces of fabric for your little zipper tabs. I just think they look a lot nicer using those than just kind of doing the zipper in general. They kind of like sink into the crevice of the corner of your bag, and using zipper tabs, they just look a lot nicer. So grab your materials and let's get started. Okay, so first things first, you need to grab 2 of your outside fabrics, and what you're going to do is you're going to put them right sides together. Make sure that they're all evenly lined up all the way around. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your ruler and you're going to find the middle. Once you find the middle, you're going to mark it. That is going to be 5 1/4. We're going to mark that middle so that we can place our dispenser opening right smack dab in the middle. So you're going to take your little Huggies or whatever brand you've got, and you're going to put that right in the middle. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is take a pen and I'm going to mark all the way around that container. Even if yours has a little lip, make sure that you get that little lip. And then you should have your little outline. Now you're going to sew on that line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab a pair of scissors, and what I do is just fold this over. You're going to be cutting just inside of your little area. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take one of those fabrics, your lining fabric, and you're going to pull it inside of itself. And I would take this to the ironing board and iron it nice and flat. I'm going to press this as I'm sewing around it just so that we can get a nice top stitch. So there she is, all in her little splendor. Now we're going to grab our zipper and our little side tabs. And what you're going to do is you're going to take those and fold them in half, open it up, and then fold it in towards the middle on both sides. And then fold that into itself. You're creating basically binding, okay? Now, I have not burned my end, so let's do that real quick. You want to do this to any kind of like nylon zippers that you've got that you want to use. And that way you make sure that they're not going to unravel on you. So we're going to put our zipper tabs on the end like so. And this just makes the top of the bag look so much better than having to deal with a raw zipper and all that stuff. Alright, so you've got your zipper tape all ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to decide which end is up. It's going to go across the top of your little bag. So you're going to center that zipper as best you can. Clip them all together, and what I like to do is to go ahead and sew it down so the zipper's not going to move when I'm trying to do the next step. I've got this up, and because there's not going to be a lining on the back, if we were to do like a regular purse and then we flip this over, we put a lining here and then flipped it over, it would be blocking this hole. So you really can't put, there's no way to have a nice round piece here with it all top stitched and everything looking nice here and be able to have it up here. So what I did was I grabbed some waterproof canvas. So I cut a 1-inch strip and I'm going to go all the way across. If you don't want to use waterproof canvas, that's fine. Just find yourself some sort of binding. There you go, that's that word. Okay, so we're not going to do anything with the edges. We're just going to line edge to edge, and I'm going to clip that all the way down. We're going to sew that on there so that you don't see a raw edge. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and look at it and then flip this zipper up so that this is facing down. And then I'm going to top stitch so that that lays flat on the top. I love little Mickey Mouses and those little snacks and candies. Because I'm going to make this on go on the back of the purse, you're going to see your lining. So I really could have done another Mickey Mouse print there, but I wanted it to be red to kind of tie everything in. And I was getting low on fabric, so I wanted to do something different. So this is what it's going to look like when you look through it, and then you've got your Mickey on the back. Okay, next thing. Grab your outside fabric. Now, if you're doing a direction, you need to make sure that it's doing the same direction as this one. So I'm going to lay it flat like that and then just turn it straight over. Now, line up your sides. Clouds just came out. It got real dark there for a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and top stitch the outside to the zipper before I have to deal with having the lining piece. So now that you've got your back on there, we're going to take it with the zipper facing us, and with the right side of your lining fabric, put it down on top of your zipper. And then pin it across there or clip across there, and we're going to sew that down. Alright, so when you open it up, you've got your back fabric, your front fabric, and now we got to get that lining over here. And then we're going to top stitch. So I'm just going to kind of press that waterproof canvas out of the way so that when I top stitch it, it'll be where it's supposed to. Now, we've got everything the way it's supposed to be. You can see there's the lining on the front side. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening this up, and then we're going to be putting the front of the pouch onto the back of the pouch, just like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet up the bottom first, and then we're going to go up the sides. Okay, so we've got our sides, and we want our zipper right here to go up like that, not in like that, but you want it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this side and go all the way down the bottom, and then up to the top again. If you're using a domestic and it's getting kind of thick, you might have to kind of go slower. Make sure that you've got a really good needle in there. It also depends on what kind of materials you're using. If you're using waterproof canvas for the domestic, you do not want to do any more layers than you have to, because waterproof canvas can get kind of thick. Always make sure that you backstitch, because you do not want any of this to go through all of this work and then not backstitch and then having your stitches come undone. That would really stink. Okay, now that we've got this all done, what we're going to do next is we're going to take some binding tape. Now I'm using waterproof canvas. I know a lot of people that do waterproof canvas on the inside of their purses when they have to do binding. If you're doing a domestic, make sure that you get something kind of thinner. It's just up to you. My industrial can handle the waterproof canvas as a binding. It's just up to you. So basically what I did was, with the waterproof canvas, I did 1.25 inches. Regular binding, I'm not sure, maybe 2 inches, and then fold it in on itself. It's up to you. So I take the top and I fold it down. I would suggest like 30 inches or so for your binding. And what I'm doing is I fold down that top edge, and I'm going to go slightly over right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going slightly over so that when I sew it, it'll close down and you won't see all of that. So you're just going to go all the way around like you would on a quilt. Now I'm going to leave that corner for a minute because I'm going to come back to it. Alright, so let's go back to the corner now. And if you've never used binding before, don't be scared of binding. Binding is really cool. It's a nice way to finish things off and make everything look nice on the inside, especially when it's something you can't do like a drop-in for or something. Alright, so we're going to push one side in till we can get a nice corner like that. Hopefully you can see it. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back side. And you might have to fiddle with it for a minute. And then I put a clip on it so that it won't unfold. So I'm going to do the rest of this. Okay, now that I've got it all clipped, I'm going to go ahead and just sew all the way around. Make sure that you backstitch really well so that nothing comes apart. Nothing is worse than finishing something and having to come back later and fix it. So just go slow. Alright, so we've got you all done. Now what we're going to do is, if your zipper wasn't open, go ahead and open your zipper now. Or you could take your finger up here if you forgot to open it, and you can unzip it. We're just going to turn it inside out. I like to start with the corners because those seem to be the most stubborn, especially if you're using like a waterproof canvas. It's just kind of thick. So they just don't want to turn super smooth. Now at the very top, you need to make sure that you press out. That's why we did the zipper tab here, so that it kind of wasn't like, you know how when you do a zipper and it just kind of squishes on itself in the corner? We didn't want that. So we did the zipper tab so that it looks a lot nicer in the corner. Oh, that one looks so good. Alright, so we got our white. Put them in there like so. And there you go. You've got your wet wipe pouch. Alright, so did you like that? Hopefully it was really easy. I know binding can be kind of hit or miss with some people. Some people don't mind it. Some people do mind it a lot. So binding is really easy. Don't be afraid of it, especially if you're starting out with waterproof canvas. It's actually a lot easier to use waterproof canvas because you're just folding it in half. If you're using like regular binding, it's a lot more because there's more layers because you're essentially folding it in half and then folding that half in half. So you've got 4 layers instead of just 2. I prefer waterproof canvas just because it's easier to work with and it's cheaper and I can do it in a matter of minutes. So it just kind of bends to my will and I can just keep going. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you want to subscribe and hang around. If you have any comments, questions, you just leave them in the comment section down below and I will get right to those. Hopefully this pattern was really easy and it's free, which makes it even better. So I hope you guys liked it. Thank you for joining us here on Faith Works Designs. Bye guys.